Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Stargirl Season 3 review series. And today I am going to be talking about Episode 12, Frenemies, Chapter 12, The Last Will and Testament of Sylvester Pemperton, which I have just finished watching. And this episode was absolutely fantastic, epic, and to say it was jaw-dropping would be an understatement. This episode gave us the biggest shocking twist I think I have ever seen in a DC show in quite some time. And this wasn't a case of this paid off from the beginning of the first episode all the way to second to last episode. This was a big payoff as a result of 1.5 seasons worth of storytelling. So we'll get to that in a moment. And before I go any further, we are one edition away from wrapping up this review series for good, because as many of you know already, episode 13 is going to be the series finale of Stargirl Season 3, which we are going to be talking about towards the end. But with the way this episode played out and with the way this episode ended, especially after all the big reveals that we got, we are in for a hell of a series finale, to say the very least. And it is a real shame that it's going to end with just 3 seasons, but if this is anything to go by after what we've just seen, then Stargirl is going to go out with a huge bang, to say the very least. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to end. So I'm going to give a quick recap of what's happened so far, and then we're going to get straight into talking about episode 12. So we've seen the reveal of Ultra Humanite. We've learned that Ultra Humanite placed his mind in a famous actress called Dolores Winters, and we learned a bit more about his backstory. And over the course of episode 11, we saw Jordan McKent, aka Dr. Icicle, officially make his return to Blue Valley, where he tells Barbara that he is willing to help the JSA defeat the Ultra Humanite, and claims that killing Crusher and Paula was an accident. And we also saw Mike and Shaquem were unable to depower Jordan with Thunderbolt's help, because he's not allowed to grant wishes that involve killing people. And we also saw in episode 11 Cindy agreed to join Mike and Shaquem, so we've got that little alliance put together. And we also saw towards the end of the episode, we saw Artemis learn what happened to her parents after they were frozen to death and shattered into 1,000 pieces. So we saw her dealing with the death of her parents. And we also saw at the end of episode 11, we saw Jordan McKent meet Ultra Humanite and tell him that it's time. So all of this came together. All of this came to a big head in episode 12. And I have to say, after watching how episode 11 played out into episode 12, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're in for a hell of a series finale. And it's going to be a real epic one, to say the very least. So with that all said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about episode 12, Frenemies, chapter 12, The Last Will and Testament of Sylvester Pemperton. So we start off this episode with a series of flashbacks where we see the Ultra Humanite in famous actress's body, Dolores Winters, accept an award, and we see Winters kills one of her fellow actors, and we see Ultra Humanite in this actress's body working with Cindy Berman's dad, the Dragon King, and we learn about how Ultra Humanite was able to place his mind into an albino gorilla, as we'll see that the gorilla was originally a circus animal, and Ultra Humanite tells Dragon King that when I place my mind in this gorilla, we'll be able to destroy the JSA once and for all. So then we cut to the present and we see Sylvester promises Artemis that he will kill Jordan for her and avenge her parents' death, and tells her that be the star that your parents wanted you to be, go to college and basically make a go of your life. And we also see Sylvester acting very strange throughout the episodes. He tells Beth and Yolanda to walk away and let other successors take their place for the fallen JSA members. We also see Jordan tells Cameron that the Ultra Humanites may have attacked Desinger and offers to go after him. So lots of strange things were going on. We see Sylvester leaves to fight Jordan, and he berates Pat and destroys the striped robot and tells him that he was nothing more than a sidekick and that he was the reason that the JSA was destroyed in the first place. And he steals the staff from Courtney and basically tells her that you're not worthy of carrying the staff. So Sylvester's acting very, very strange, which I'll get to in a moment. And Pat realises that Sylvester was lying to him to protect him and follows him, only to be knocked out by Sylvester, who is revealed to be none other than the Ultra Humanite. And we also see that Dragon King, that's Cindy's dad, is back from the dead and is in the gorilla's body. So Dragon King, Ultra Humanite, and Jordan McKent, aka Dr. Icicle, are now working together. Holy cow. So we see Cindy, Jakeem, and Mike go to one of Dragon King's labs, and they are ambushed by the Ultra Humanite when they realise that Dragon King has placed his mind in the body of a gorilla, and they manage to escape from him. And we also see Rick, who has been suffering withdrawal symptoms after trying to attempt to take off the hourglass limiter. So that story arc's more or less going to be paid off, I believe, in the series finale. And Beth notes that Rex has become addicted without the limiter, and whenever he tries to take it off, he is in serious pain. And Rick explains that it was Sylvester who convinced him to put on the hourglass limiter, and he knew the effects that it would have. After Pat's knocked out, we see Pat awakes from being unconscious and is tied up and in a grave pit, and we see Sylvester, who has now been taken over by the Ultra Humanite, reveals that this was all a plan and this was all a ruse to try and gain the JSA's trust. So we get a big long montage from the end of season 1, all of season 2, and all of season 3. So Ultra Humanite has played everyone, and as he's doing this, as he's explaining himself, he is shuffling dirt onto Pat, who is tied up, while Ultra Humanite is going on about his evil scheme. And we end the episode with Pat buried alive and Sylvester, in Ultra Humanite's voice, pretty much say to Pat in a very chilling way, "Good night, Pat." And that's how we end episode 12. Overall, fantastic, unbelievable twist to have Sylvester turn out to be the Ultra Humanite the entire time. I thought that was a brilliant twist. I think that's probably the best twist I've seen since Harrison Wells revealed himself to be Eobard Thawne. You just didn't see it coming. But I think where Stargirl has succeeded, wouldn't necessarily say where the Flash failed, I would say bettered, is they've drawn this out for virtually the entire series. So this was an epic twist, and now we've got 3 villains to tango with: Dragon King, Dr. Icicle, and the Ultra Humanite. Who knows? Who else are we going to see appear? We'll just have to wait and see, really. But I thought this episode was fantastic and did a great job in helping to set up the series finale of Stargirl. So that's going to be it for me. I am going to wrap this up now. What was your thoughts on episode 12? Did you enjoy it? What was your reaction to Sylvester Pemperton being revealed to be Ultra Humanite the entire time? Did you think that was a good twist? And did you like the way that Ultra Humanite's plan was revealed as he was burying Pat? And speaking of Pat, do you think Pat has survived, or do you think he has truly been buried alive? And also, with the staff in Ultra Humanite's possession, where does this leave Courtney and the others? What about Rick? Do you think he will survive due to the effects of the hourglass limiter? And how does this set up for the series finale? How do you think the show's going to end? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for the final edition of the Stargirl Season 3 review series, where I am going to be talking about episode 13, which is the series finale, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing and talking about, especially with the way this episode ended and the way it's played out. Should be a good one, and it's going to be a very emotional one as well, because as we all know, the show is going to be ending, so it's going to be a very mixed bag of emotions, to say the very least, but at the same time, it's going to be a lot of fun. So until next time, take care everybody and stay safe, and once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.